Okay, so the first question is, what is it that is comforting about finding the familiar in the foreign and why? And the next is, what is it that is uncomfortable about finding the familiar in the foreign and why? When I think when we go anywhere that's foreign, to see any little thing that's familiar, whether it's just going somewhere, maybe like going to China and seeing a McDonald's, or um, same for like Spain, going to Spain, seeing a McDonald's. Even though you may not eat there, still seeing that gives you this like sort of comfort um, in being in a place you don't know and being surrounded by people you don't know. But I also think like going somewhere foreign with someone you know brings that little piece of comfort because you're never really alone. Um, and nothing's ever truly unfamiliar because there's always that one piece of familiarity where everywhere you go if you're traveling with someone. Um, so I think when reading about Japan, I saw this kind of outline on in chapter 8 on page 321. It's down here at the bottom. And if anybody has ever done anything like or watched any Japanese movies, odds are you've seen a building with this same like structure form. I know I did like a around the world dinner one night, and it was for Japan. They had a building similar to this that they had put together to have the food served at. So this is just seeing something like that. It's something that you've seen. It's an unfamiliar scene that you've seen in a familiar place. So when you go, so if you were to visit Japan and see one of these, there'd be that little piece of familiarity because you have seen this structure before. It may not be that exact one, but you've seen something very similar. One of the things that's uncomfortable about finding the familiar in a foreign place, I thought that on page 328, if you were to, so finding something, what is it that is uncomfortable about finding the familiar in the foreign and why? I think if you've like seen this painting before and you were to go um, to a foreign place and see this, even though you've seen it before and it's familiar to you, it's still like an uncomfortable thing because it's violence. And I think violence for anyone, anywhere, is uncomfortable. And then what in your opinion are the primary problems with using words like familiar and foreign? And how do your answers to questions 1 and 2 inform your response to this question? Um, in my opinion, problems with using the words familiar and foreign is if you hear, it's kind of like vice versa. Like if you hear the word familiar, people are more likely to go to that because they are familiar with it and it's within their comfort zone. And then people that live outside of their comfort zone may jolt to the unfamiliar or to the foreign. But I think using the word familiar keeps people inside their boxes and inside of their comfort zone. As long as it's familiar and you use that word familiar, they're not going to go into the foreign. They'll stay in their comfort zone. So if you talk about foreign, they just automatically shut it out because it's not within their comfort zone. So using those words, I think it depends on who you're around, um, and whether using like those specific words would actually like create a problem or keep that person from doing or not doing something.